You know, you can't have miracles as long as you settle for excuses. The two just don't work together. I'm sorry. But as long as you have an excuse, you can't possibly live a miracle-based life. It's going to go one way or the other. Hey, I've got an excuse why it didn't work out, why I couldn't, why this didn't happen. You know that guy. Yeah, hell, I used to be that guy. But miracles require that you accept the excellence and the perfection of possibility. Let me put it another way. You can have math, or you can have miracles. Miracles are all about giving life to possibility and having that possibility become your actuality. How cool is that? On the other hand, probabilities, well, according to the statistics, according to the sciences, it's not a very probable thing. It's actually quite improbable. The experts told me that I needed a hip replacement. That was the inevitable conclusion. I used to go to 12-step meetings. And in the more interesting ones, the Narcotics Anonymous ones, they would always say there's 3 inevitable conclusions: jails, institutions, and death. No, I never did a narcotic, but I was curious about the damn thing. And some of you know my position on addiction. They say once an addict, always an addict. And I say as soon as you buy that roll of bullshit, once a procrastinator, always a procrastinator. Once a quitter, always a quitter. Once not having your wish fulfilled, always not having your wish fulfilled. And by the way, I'm not saying that their 12-step program isn't a great way to survive. It does help people survive. But there's a difference between a survival strategy and a strategy that gives you your life back completely. And I don't mean giving your life back from a problem. We've all had problems. And problems by their very nature seem unmanageable. And they make success seem improbable. But here's the truth about you that sets you free. You are how God has the adventure of a lifetime. So it's time for you to start giving God an adventure by accepting only excellence. Because as soon as you make it about the math, you deny the miracle. Statistically speaking, right? I was looking at an inevitable conclusion, a hip replacement. And now I not only strut up the staircases, but I'm playing with the shuffle dance and doing martial arts on them just for fun. They say it's impossible. The experts at the pool, they all ask, and some of my friends that I haven't seen in a while, Tony, when did you get it done? When did you get your hip replaced? You said you weren't going to. Well, I didn't have surgery, and I replaced what matters. I'm telling you, this stuff works. But like Neville Goddard said, your faith in God is measured by your confidence in you. And faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. And if you look around, what you're going to see are opportunities for excuses. They're all around you. Politicians, the economy, your ex-wife to be, your parents, living or dead, what they did or didn't do to you or for you. There's always an excuse. I could give you some of mine. I don't use them anymore. By the way, maybe you can tell I've got a little bit of a cold right now. My voice is a little scratchy. And as far as I can tell, I just gave you some excellent life advice. You may or may not take it. But living from a state of excellence, I'm not going to sit around and Well, let an excuse deny you of this message today. My name is Mr. 2020. You've been listening to the Power of Imagination podcast, where we explore one thing and one thing only. The power of vision, the power of the wonderful human imagination. Neville Goddard said it's your savior. I agree. It's moved me around the world to be a citizen of my chosen country, to marry the woman that I love. For some reason, I don't have scoliosis anymore. They told me I'd be in a wheelchair in my 20s. I don't have PTSD anymore. I did not get a hip replacement. And you should watch me strut. Dive deeper, soar higher. Let's imagine up something yummy as we go into the silence. I was on a little chat this morning with one of my remarkable team members. And like a lot of people, she's hit some speed bumps as she's choosing to soar. Instead of being battled around, she's choosing to be the blessing. In other words, she's choosing excellence instead of excuses. I love how they call royalty your excellency. Are you royal? I'd say so. Because you're how God has the adventure of a lifetime. If you want to dive deeper, if you want to soar higher with us, you can. Reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Perhaps we could have a chat or two. And of course, you can always invest in you at NevilleGoddardStore.com. Go there, do that, have fun, have a great day. And remember, at the end of the day, you're going to have something. You're going to have some excuses. You know, if you have a lot of those, you're probably going to fit in with the crowd. How cool is that? You won't be alone, but you might feel lonely. Excellence, on the other hand, that changes everything. Because excellence is the gateway for miracles. No more excuses, gang. Have a lovely day. See ya.